Hello, my friends. Bradley J Show. Kind of solo today. No, not kind of solo. Completely solo. I should probably not say kind of so much. Also, we have to get rid of the word literally. It should never be used. It just should never be used. Either a thing is X or it's not X. Don't say literally ever. If you have children, chastise that for saying that. Just don't say literally ever. And by the way, what other words do you think you should not say ever? That are just so old, so useless, so lazy. Well, there's one I'm guilty of. Awesome. They say awesome. So I'm lame too, don't worry. Just kind of a check-in on the Bradley J Show. For one thing, I want to promote tomorrow's guest, Representative Day from the 31st Massachusetts District. And he's going to talk about a bunch of stuff you probably didn't know about the State House. Like 5 things you probably didn't know about the State House. I know a lot of you love history, especially the history of Massachusetts. So I'll tell you a story as to how I came to have the representative as a guest. I'm a big history fan. As you know, on WBZ, sorry, Joe. Boom. Absolutely. And you know. Right. Absolutely. I got to remember not to do that. I wasn't aware. One thing I used to say on the radio all the time, and Mark Lavallo let me know I should stop, was, we've only scratched the surface. Scratch the surface. Scratch the surface. That was my little crutch. So absolutely, he's got to go. Literally, really's got to go. Like, I'm a little guilty of that, but I try not to say it. It's so embarrassing to be walking in front of a couple of people who are under 30 who use the word like 3 times in every sentence. And in a paragraph, they'll use it 12 times. It sounds so dumb. And I try to think back to when I was a loser kid. I'm getting a little scratchy throat here. What phrases did we overuse? Well, all we said was man a lot. Hey man, what's up, man? But we never said that as much as like, dude. Really? This is good, Joe. I say dude. Want me to get rid of dude? Done. Because you said so, Joe. Now, back to the story of how Representative Day came to be on the show tomorrow at 11. I'm his biggest fan now. So I have a lot of historical guests on the program, including Professor Bob Allison of Suffolk University. He invited me to this thing, which was a procession to take the old cod effigy, to reenact I said that incorrectly, to reenact the moving of the sacred cod from the old State House to the so-called new State House, which is still hundreds of, really old. There was a procession, and they reenacted that procession, taking an effigy of the cod from the old State House to the new State House. And there was a speech at the old State House, and there was a speech at the new State House. And I got to be part of that because Bob Allison invited me. And at that event, I met the representative. Because when we got to the old State House, we got to hang around in the House chamber where the cod resides. By the way, the cod points. Maybe I shouldn't give this one away. To the side who's in power. If the Republicans are in power, it points one way. If the Democrats are in power, it points the other way. And so Representative Day is a kind of a student. Nope, I said kind of again. He's a student of the history, at least of the State House. And he was telling us all kinds of cool things. So I invited him on to share his knowledge. And I know this is stuff you're going to like. And so he's going to be on tomorrow at 11. So that's fantastic. Today, let me catch you up on what I've been doing. I've been a little bit absent because of home improvements. I had a few days off, and so did my wife. And so, in most cases, we would have gone on a trip because the airlines suck so badly now, and their service is so horrible, except for JetBlue. We said, we're going to do home improvement because we hadn't done any home improvement for like 10 years. For 10 years. For approximately 10 years. Doesn't that sound better, approximately, rather than like? And now let me tell you what we did. And these are all self-done. Didn't hire anybody. And for most people, it's no big deal. But I, myself, am not a handy man. I am not a handy person. I hope I can remember them all. Number one thing, new kitchen faucet. The hardest thing about a kitchen faucet is to find a decent one. We went somewhere to a warehouse up in I don't want to say the name of the place because it was one of those bathroom supply places. Big place, huge number of faucets and stuff. But they were all faucets that we can't use because it seems like the thing now is these big, tall faucets that come up and swoop around. We don't want that. Even if we wanted it, it wouldn't fit in our kitchen. So we finally found one, installed that, which is a pain. Getting the old one out is a pain. Okay, next. New kitchen light. The old one was awful. This one is, I wish I could show it to you. It looks kind of like if it were a loft apartment, a little bit industrial. It's cool. Very cool. Also in the kitchen, Shannon installed heavy-duty sliding racks in the cupboards. So you open the door, and these rack slides out. Two and two. Well, one and one. Two in each cupboard. Wicked cool. Oops, wicked. Watch that, right? Then, moving to the bathroom. A lot of work there. I sanded and painted the ceiling. Sanded and painted the walls. Took off the old mop boards and sanded that down to put on new mop boards. The old ones were crappy vinyl ones. The new ones are going to be real ones, painted a nice color, not contrasting color. So there's that. Grouting. I began to grout the tub, re-grout the tub. My first grouting experience didn't go well, but I don't blame myself much because it was a bumpy surface to begin with, and the grout was watery in the tip, and I didn't know enough to squeeze a little out first. So when I started, it was like water. But I do the wet finger, and man, it comes out perfectly. So there's that. New bathroom light. Working on a new bathroom vanity, but that is so difficult. I cannot believe how much they charge for terrible bathroom vanities. Just non-wood MDR junk board vanities are $900. A real wood one, $2,500 without the sink or the faucet or even the legs. So we are going to find a piece of furniture to convert into a vanity. Yesterday, Shannon drove all the way out to Springfield-ish to get two pieces of furniture, which looks like they might work. What those two pieces of furniture were night tables. They were so beautiful. We're just using them as night tables. So that's a huge upgrade. That makes the bedroom now look like an expensive bedroom in a very expensive hotel. Like for example, the Ritz, the Taj, whatever you call it now. Unbelievable. Other improvements include, oh, come on now, kitchen. Oh, yes, regrouting the kitchen sink. That grout around there got junked up. The regrouting of the tub. Oh, big. And I was determined to do an artisanal job, and I did. Painting of the door trim and the doors. So I took the doors off and sanded the bejesus out of the door frames. Even took a Dremel to get off the 4 coats of previous paint that were on the hinges. You know how it gets all globby from sloppy jobs from other people and probably me too. So that I got those down in metal in many cases and painted them so perfectly with this great paint that's a hybrid between acrylic, I think a hybrid between acrylic and oil. And it smells strong for like 3 days, for about 3 days. Look at that. I said like again. Good. And but it dries, it seems to dry so hard and substantial and nice. Then I took the doors off. I took the doors off again to sand them. Sanded the bejesus out of those. And used an electric, a finishing sander. Because previous persons had not they'd done a sloppy job with too much paint. So there were the door wasn't square. It had this sort of ridge of paint run going down the spine of the back of the. I made them squared them off with the electric machine, the sander. And I did it right. I had a full-on mask, goggles for dust particles, because paint chips are flying everywhere, and a headlamp, and work lights, and I will tell you, a spectacular job. So that's kitchen faucet, kitchen light, bathroom, ceiling, walls, and working on the molding. Cupboard racks, nightstands in the bedroom, doors, and door frames. Oh, and I washed the walls very vigorously, and they look so clean and good that some of them don't even need to be painted. So there's that. That's what I've been up to. Oh, I've been doing my radio show. I'm going to be focusing it on Mixcloud now. So the best way to hear my radio show is go to Mixcloud, and search Ignore the Machine. That's the name of the show, Ignore the Machine. I wonder what happens if you just Google Ignore the Machine. I wonder what will pop up, because it was a song by a band called Alien Sex Fiend. Alien Sex Fiend, how about that? I bet they made their parents really proud with that, huh? I'm looking up Ignore the Machine, see what happens. Ignore the Machine. So it still comes up as that song. But if you go to Mixcloud, search Ignore the Machine, you'll find it. And for you WBCN fans, I have posted something that I think you'll get a kick out of. For a few years, the bosses let me do New Year's mashups. Or I'd do these mashups, big, giant, long mashup intros that would last 8, 10, 15, 20 minutes. And the payoff would go into the full song. So I have edited those all together, or some of them together. Also posted those on Mixcloud, and you can hear them right now. It's 2 hours and a half long, and it was 2008, so you'll be able to hear a lot of that 2008 music. And it's not intended for active listening. It was intended for party soundtrack, and it still is. It's pretty good. I mean, some of it's really good. But you may say, oh, it's a little repetitive. Yeah, but it was meant to be in the background while people are chatting and talking, and for dancing. And dancing music is more repetitive. It generally is. Now, finally, I'm going to address the topic that I put in the heading. Some old sayings just are not true. A lot of wise old sayings are true. I mean, healthy, wealthy, and wise. Early to bed, early to rise. Healthy, wealthy, and wise. That's probably true, right? You probably are healthier, wealthier, and wiser if you don't sleep till noon. And well, I slept till noon when I was doing overnights, and was I was not healthier. I was less healthy. It was an abomination when it came to health. Once in a while is great, but all the time's not great. So here's the saying that I think is dumb. And I hear it often when I tell people, hey, I lost weight. And I tell them how I did it, and they say, oh, I'm not doing that. All things in moderation. Like, for example, I will say I don't eat. I try not to. If I eat bread or pasta or a muffin or anything like that, it's bad, and I have failed, and I should be shamed for it. But they'll say, oh, all things in moderation. Well, first of all, that doesn't work for me. Because if it's on my radar, like if I have ice cream in the fridge, forget it. I'm eating it. But that's not the reason that particular saying is stupid. There are so many things that, even in moderation, are very valuable. How about this? How about getting shot in moderation? All things, how would that work out? Please don't shoot me. Well, all things are in moderation. Bang, shoot you in the foot. That's a moderate thing, right? That is a moderate gunshot. No, that's stupid. There are all kinds of things that are not good in moderations. Yes, Feldman points out that oysters are very, very, very okay, as are all things fishy, like, and I shouldn't say fishy, but all things from the sea, pretty much, like salmon ceviche, which I had a delicious example of over at the City Winery the other day when I was the MC for the Bowie Show, which I loved, by the way. Loved it. And they now do fancy things with oysters over there. They have a chef that when you get some oysters, they do different stuff to it. I can't explain it, but it's good. You'll have to talk to the chef over there, or you have to go try them. Maybe when you go to the Chachi Beatles event, you can buy yourself some oysters. But I digress. And as a favor to you, Scott. You're right. It is shameless. And that's all right. So, yeah, I'm sure there are other sayings, but all things in moderation, terrible. Car accidents in moderation? No, that's not cool. What about racism in moderation? You good with that? What about ageism in moderation? I'm not good with that. What about eating nails in my? Okay, you get the point. So X that one from all old sayings. All things in moderation, just nah. That's a dumb one. So as you go through your day or your evening, drinking a moderate amount of alcohol, that's one thing that for many people like myself is excellent. I like it in moderation. But as you go through your day, try to think of old sayings that are dumb and not true. And try to think of old sayings that are actually quite true. While Feldman's here, Scott Feldman is the marketing director of City Winery. While you're here, Scott, when is the next Chachi event? It's February 8th, correct? Give me a heads up, or a yay or a nay on that. I think I am going to that myself. I got to tell you, while we're talking there, Scott, 5/8 or 2/8? I'm guessing. Not May 8th. You must mean February 8th. Please confirm. 2/8, yeah. Okay. So, Scott, since you're listening, I did enjoy being the MC there. And now I've decided I want to be the MC of everything, everywhere. I'm not kidding. I want to be Boston's MC. A lot of people, yeah, okay, so everyone would want to be that. But I actually could be. I have the experience. If there's ever a band, let's say, that was played on BCN, I should be the MC of that. I should be doing the Orpheum and Great Woods and Foxborough and whatever these other venues are. I should be the guy. When a band comes, they should say, oh, a Bob Seger tribute band. We had to get Bradley J to be the MC. That's correct. Or who classic rock might tour, who actually post-punk might tour. Like a lot of those post-punky people, they don't want to have an MC probably. But on the other hand, maybe they don't care anymore. Maybe they're just happy to get a gig. So if Susie and the Banshees comes through, I want to be the MC. You're a professional MC, the Boston MC. Big events, big venues, small venues. People will know if it's a legit event. Bradley J is the MC because it was fun. And it's funny, Scott, being backstage and doing the MC thing reminded me of how fortunate I have been throughout my life. And Scott too. Scott was a producer for Charles, so he had high access to things too. But being able to watch bands from on the stage at Foxborough, from on the stage at Great Woods, just be able to come and go without even a pass, really. I mean, because they know you. That was so good. I did not take it for granted then. I appreciated it then. Now I really appreciate it. And one of my favorite examples of that was I performed between sets at River Rave, and the final band was Stone Temple Pilots. So a band would come out while they were set changing. I would be a DJ. I did a DJ performance. It wasn't just DJ. I had the keyboard and stuff, so it was a live performance. And then I was performing before Scott Weiland went on and Stone Temple Pilots. I was already on the stage, like kind of halfway out on the stage. And then when the band came out, they didn't make me leave. So I was about 10 feet from them the whole time. And that was 2008 maybe? Probably 2008. So doing that MC made me want to do big shows too. Remember the Orpheum, Tom? I'll give you one more MC story. And Scott's heard me tell this story. Orpheum Theater, David Bowie. The time is nearing, the tension mounts, the lights go down. You hear the guys giving out the count. 30 seconds, 15 seconds. And they give me the go. So I go out there. The crowd roars. The lights hit me, hit the crowd. I do my little spiel, maybe 15 seconds, and I say, okay, blah, blah, blah. David Bowie. And then Bowie comes bounding out like he's my best friend, gives me a high five in front of everybody. I know that's so petty of me to care, but, it's my thing. It's like if Chachi got a high five from John Lennon at one point or something like that. Or you got a high five in front of everybody from your very favorite band. So that was the highlight of that. Of course, no one had a picture of that moment, but it's in my head, baby. It's in my head. And that's it. So try to think of sayings that are stupid and then not true. Everything in moderation? Nope. I don't think so. I need to plug a couple things from me. Oh, yes. Well, my radio show, it's on Mixcloud. Just search Ignore the Machine. There's this show, which I'm going to be doing more and more often because I have some new clothes I want to show off. And that tomorrow's going to have Representative Day talking about cool historical facts about the State House. I want to tell you now, but that would be stupid, wouldn't it? And I think, oh yes, my album is out. My band, it's me and a vocalist, Future Susie. She sings, I sing and do everything else. It's called Bridge Bender. Bridge Bender. Trust me, it's better than you think. I'm my worst critic because I was a DJ and I used to be very critical of other bands. It'd take a lot to get me to listen to some band. But I tell you, when you listen to this, you're going to go, oh my, whoa, that's better than I thought. So that's Bridge Bender on Spotify and all the major places you get your music, except for Strawberries Records and Tapes. It's not there. And I'll talk to you very soon. Do me a favor and follow me on this, okay? All the platforms. I forget to ask that, but it does matter, and that way you get notified. Click on the bell and stuff. Okay, don't want to bore you, so bye-bye.